bench in the woods. Hello, welcome to the Wine with Tweedy video. More Exton Park today. This is their Blanc de Blanc, the RB45 as they call it, the Reserve Blend 45. I forget the significance of the number, perhaps I'll put that on screen if I can be bothered. Given a choice, I have to say Blanc de Blanc is not really my favourite style. I'd much rather at least a bit of Pinot in there. Shall I open that up while I'm talking? Surrounded by hazelnuts on the floor. Hazelnuts. Very narrow stalk, whatever it's called, on the cork there. Forget what that indicates. I think you can probably tell something or other based on the fact that it doesn't fan out immediately when you pop it. You know, fruit-wise, one would expect lemons and green apples, and that's about all you have to look forward to with pure Chardonnay, especially in England. Something going on there that's ever so slightly tropical. Something you get in Ditchling in wines like Court Garden. Yeah, I think there is a hint of something more tropical there rather than just your usual lemon and green apple. Passion fruit, I don't know. Well, complaining just now about Blanc de Blancs, but that's actually really quite nice. The fruit is a lot fuller than I would expect from a pure Chardonnay wine. Tropical, as I say. As always for Exton Park, texture and the bubbles, lovely. Bit of something greener coming in now. Slightly sort of herbaceous. The tiniest hint of that reductive winemaking style. That's slightly sulphury. Definitely tropical. More than just lemons and apples. Zingy acidity, of course. Really dry as well, not just acidic dry, but dry. Definitely not an abundance of sugar in there. Tastes as though the dosage is fairly low, but couldn't say for sure. To accompany that sophisticated Blanc de Blanc, a pretty sizable bag of Monster Munch. Some of the glue from, I don't know why the bottle's got glue on it, but hold on the foil on top, so it seems to be on my hand. So I hope that's not particularly toxic. If you hear of Tweedy passing away from glue poisoning, we know where it came from. What a lovely pairing. Reminds me of childhood days, sitting in the woods, eating Monster Munch and drinking Umbongo. Or Lilt. Do you remember Lilt? Quattro? Citrus Spring. I have done a bit of background reading on the Exton Park Blanc de Blanc, and I think I've figured out at least partially what's going on here, why it has this surprising tropical fruit character. My theory is that apparently there is a partial malolactic fermentation goes on in the winemaking process here. So you're obviously familiar with the basic premise of fermentation, which is the conversion of sugar into alcohol, but there are other forms of fermentation. And one is malolactic, which is the process of turning malic acid into lactic acid. And that tends to soften at least the perception of acidity in a wine, and particularly where you get some of those really kind of bracing, crunchy green apple notes. You know, and as schoolboy Latin time, of course, apple Malus domestica. Malic acid is that sort of that kind of searing acid you get in kind of very crunchy green apples. If you want to tone that down a bit, malolactic fermentation is a tool in the winemaker's toolbox that they can use to lessen that and allow some of the other fruit characteristics to come to the fore. So my guess is the surprising tropical fruit character in this wine is at least partly down to that. They've sort of toned down the malic acid, lessened the green apple sort of character, and some of the more subtle, interesting, nuanced tropical fruits that were hiding underneath the surface have been allowed to come to the fore.